Yeah, and Scott, I'm here with Scott Wild, Scott Solo Wild, and that
Right.
is the name that your mama gave you, I believe.
No, it's a chosen name, but it's a legal
Okay,
name. Yeah.
awesome. So that is your real name,
Yes.
and you coach startups and you help them. I believe you were saying that you help them engage with their audience and then really implement that feedback back into their business.
Yeah. I help create great relationships at a
Awesome.
baseline level. So, for founders in particular, that could be a co-founding relationship. It could be with other employees at the company. Basically, like one avenue is helping them give feedback better. So finding what like one bad feedback like conversation or really hard feedback conversation can really like turn sideways when it comes to the relationship and when it comes to where the company's headed. So you can really lose a lot of top talent just by like one bad conversation.
Yeah, and I've seen this a lot too because a lot of times businesses start in the wrong order. So they start with an idea and then go to a product, and then they try to find the customer. And by the time they realize that the customer doesn't want what they built, then the engineering team is immediately alienated because you're going back and saying, your baby's ugly. You spent a good portion of your life building something that nobody wants, and now we have to change it. And that's a really hard conversation.
Yeah. The way that I see it is like it's the same with giving feedback to a person. Like feedback with a product is like you actually want to expand the awareness of whoever's building the product in this case. So like you may just not have known that something was important. Something was important about the product, and so how you respond and how you react to here's this extra information. Here's this thing that was actually really important about the product that I was building. I didn't know that originally. If I think of that as a failure
Yeah.
and we really take that in, that's not going to like help me build the next version of the product. But if I see like I just didn't know that initially, like let me adapt, let me continue to build. Like I think of like feedback as well, just in terms of giving someone feedback. It's like you actually want to expand the awareness so that the other person can see more. And the way that you do that can be in a really kind way.
Yeah, and I've seen the relationship between the tech founder and the sales or the overall leader, the founder group, fractured quickly over a lack of communication or a lack of delivery to expectations. So the sales guy is out talking to a customer. He doesn't have confidence that the delivery team is able to deliver. The delivery team becomes very defensive, and instead of going in and saying, what have we done to break this confidence, how do we improve so that the sales team has what they need to deliver, instead they start getting defensive and they start protecting their turf. And that is the fastest way to break a relationship. Yeah. And jeopardize your startup.
Yeah. And one thing I've seen with some founders is like the whether they can admit a failure or like how publicly they can actually say that something like a direction that they were going didn't work. Like I've seen leaders in the past where they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't say like we were going in this direction, we found this something wasn't working, so we're going in this new direction. They would just say we're going this new direction. Oh, new direction, new direction, new direction. And it was
It feels like
exhausting.
you're getting blown all over the
Yeah, because
place, and nobody knows why.
and it's not clear what we're learning by doing it. So it's a little bit of a like creates more churn, creates more like wait, where are we going? Like what? Why are we doing? Like what? Like why was the old idea not like I'm still bought into the old idea? Why didn't that work? Yeah.
Yeah, especially, man, so many times now people build Figmas. They have an idea, they build their Figmas, and then they start doing agile iteration over the Figmas. The dev team, they don't know what they're delivering. Heck, the person that had the idea, a lot of times, especially if it's technical founders are really notorious for this, in my opinion. They have an idea, but their customer doesn't know that it's a problem. So they have an idea to solve a problem. Hey, I know this is a problem. Does your customer know it's a problem? Because if your customer doesn't know it's a problem, then you're not going to sell it. Or sometimes problems are real, but they have low consequence. They don't have much urgency. It's not creating a lot of pain. Don't solve those problems. And so people have an idea, oh man, I know how to change the world. And then they get the dev team, and they get the dev team bought in on it, and then they go out and get to the customer. And now you have to come back to the dev team and get them bought in on something else.
Yeah.
And that is a really expensive and painful process. And a lot of times what ends up happening is the startup just dissolves.
Yeah, the top thing I'd notice when it comes to someone who's building a product, and I spent years as a software engineer, but the difference between the sales side and the person who's building the product is people don't buy the what. They don't care if it's software. They don't care if it's this
That's
or if it's
right.
that. It's more about what it can do for them. So like seeing the outcome of it and less about the nuts and bolts. Like as an engineer, like I would love that. Like I love those details, but that's not the person who's buying it. Person who's buying it, generally speaking, it doesn't care about those details. They'll care that it's fast. They'll care that it
They want to
solves their
know,
problem.
yeah, how are you reducing my pain? How are you doing for me? And the only way that you're ever going to do that is by understanding your audience, your customer, understanding them well and knowing what their goals, knowing what, and the funny thing is, so many engineers, they don't believe that they can get a customer to tell them what they need. And they say this, they say the customer's not going to tell you what they want. I'm like, no, you don't want the customer to tell you what they want. What you want the customer to do is tell you what their goals are, tell you what's keeping them from reaching their goals.
Yeah, totally.
And then you can understand their problem and then create a solution that helps them reach their goals. And now the product market fit thing, so much easier. The marketing, well, you know who's experienced the pain, you know what the pain is, the cause, the consequence, the urgency, you have that covered and you built something specifically for that. Now you can go and have your engineering team, your dev team, your product team all in full alignment. That alignment fuels excellent relationships and really good outcomes.
Yeah, it's such a shame to put so much information, so much effort into something that you just think the customer will want. And you haven't asked any of them if they actually would want it.
Yeah, and so lean startup says build, then measure, learn. Well, maybe we should learn before we build. Like, why don't, and engineers will swear you cannot know what the customer wants. They won't tell you. They will tell you what their problem is. Tell me a customer that doesn't like talking about themselves.
Yeah, well, they won't talk about the what,
Right. But they're
right?
gonna
But they will talk
their-
about what
their
what the
ambition.
problem is, whatever thing, like, yeah, what their ambition, like what the outcome that they want from something is, and what's getting in the way of it, for sure. Like those two things.
Yeah, if you listen, and that's a lot of the challenge. Build less, listen more, and then you're on the road to success. All right, so what about your client? You said that you help startups find the right relationships, the right partners, implement the right feedback loops. What kind of founder or client are you looking for?
Yeah, so I primarily work in one-on-one. I do workshops for feedback as well within companies, sometimes at conferences, but when I'm working one-on-one with, let's say, a founder, it can be like just improving the culture, improving the amount of trust within the company, helping with co-founding relationships, like these kinds of things are like pretty central to what I do. But yeah, it really varies from person to person. Again, like there will be different problems that each person's facing or each person's considering. But the way that I see it is the majority of problems will come down to a relationship with self, a relationship with, a close partner. Even like, well, I do like whole life analysis with people as well. So sometimes for a founder, the most important thing is actually their relationship at home or their relationship with friends. And like, are they building community outside of their work?
Yeah, do they have a balanced ecosystem, a balanced support structure?
Yeah, exactly. So as you were saying with like, what a person will want or what their outcomes are, what their goals are going to be very different from person to person. But for me personally, I like helping people just like have more and more power in themselves, have more decision-making power, less kind of relying like needing of other people necessarily. Which is to say, like when you are relying on someone else, it's because it's actually just better that way. I like to call that interpreference. Like there's a term interdependence, which is to say like you're kind of depending on each other, but it's like something better is happening because you have each other. I like it as interpreference because you just prefer to like work with each other.
I've seen this several times where a leader or a founder, they don't have confidence in themselves to make the right decision. They don't have confidence in their team, so they keep bringing more and more voices to the table, and they keep trying to increase collaboration and make sure that everybody agrees on everything. I have never seen that approach actually lead to success. If anything, it breaks down any momentum you actually have every time a new voice comes to the table.
Yeah, there's different approaches. That's like one person's responsible for the decision, and others, if they have a tension with it, and they can raise what tension they have with it, and then you can kind of work with that individually. There's a great process called holacracy for that, which is a way to distribute power within a company.
Okay, so kind of like a more modern approach to the RACI.
Yes, yeah, you can model like any kind of business power structure through this, but it's much more flexible because like there's a governance like process, and basically like if someone wants to do something, get something done, like you can like basically do it, but if you need to like change your responsibilities or change like the way that the actual like company is set up, then there's a process for that, and it's really straightforward.
Interesting. Awesome. Scott, great conversation. How do people find you?
Yeah, I'm primarily on LinkedIn, Twitter somewhat. Scott Solo Wild is my username. You can email me at scott@scottsolowild.com.
Awesome. And
yeah.
you're here hosting events weekly at Capital Factory.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I run a Founders Feedback Lab once a month.
Once a month.
And yeah, it's a free event here at Capital Factory, so would love for any founders who want to get better at giving feedback. I got a really slick process that I'd love to share with people.
Awesome. All right. Well, this has been another awesome interview here at Austin Tech Week. This is Catalyst Effect. We are about to close up. We're going to be taking our last 5 founders. So if you want to come out and let us kind of promote your voice a little bit, we are on the 5th floor right outside of the Connector Plus Lounge. Thanks so much to Capital Factory, and we are just having a really great day here at Austin Tech Week.
Thank you, Isaac.